Hey there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Ohno radio show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
Well, hello, my fellow Marks, Smarks, and Jabronis. Welcome to another edition of the Ohno Radio Show. My name is Owen, and along with me tonight, my name is Owen, but also the Sharp-Braid Kid. And with me tonight is my good friend Duncan. He is the king of Bong Style and our ONW predictions champion. You're putting the title on the line tonight.
Yes. I'm scared of this one.
I'm scared of this one too, because nobody, including us, has been following NXT 2.0, and we'll just see how that goes, down the road. Hopefully, down the road as well, our good friend and good brother, Matthew, the modern-day Maharaja, will be joining us as well. We'll see about that. He's a busy, busy boy, he's a working man.
Hardest working man in show business.
He's a man, that should be.
He's a man's man.
We'll start with this actually, because now that we've got 2.0, has Regal been on screen since 2.0? Like, we've not had much Regal, really, have we?
As far as I know,
yeah.
I haven't seen Regal a stitch.
I don't know that I have either, but that wouldn't surprise me if he has showed up, because again, I haven't been watching, and now I get to do predictions on something I've got no real clue as to how is going to shake out.
I'm literally watching through other people's like clip shows
or clip show. Yeah, 100%. I get it, I guess, sort of. I mean, really, the real the whole thing with this 2.0 War Games is it seems like they're shaping it out to be more like the old school versus the new school, the 1.0 versus the 2.0.
Oh, dude, yeah. They're doing brand supremacy, but with War Games.
With War Games in a weird way, and that'll be interesting to kind of see how much, I guess, they job out some of the real talented indie stars of the 1.0 era, and if they, it'll be kind of telling to see some of the results of War Games.
I think
down the road,
that the results of these 5 matches are going to really show us the direction that NXT 2.0 is going to go.
Yeah, how much indeed they are, moving into this new era, and how much they really do actually give a shit about all of the talent that they still have. And we'll get into that later. Hopefully Matthew can join us for those predictions, and we typically do those at the end of the show anyway. But one thing that kind of came across my news feed, and I know you said you saw the headline, was something real interesting regarding a interview with Dustin Rhodes from the inaugural AEW Double or Nothing that we went to in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this, man. We were we were in love with the match. I remember the Cody Dustin match. It was one of those great builds. That's the one, if you can remember all the way back, guys. That's the one where it's, I don't need a partner, I need a brother, and all that.
Yeah, at the end of that.
At the end of the match, exactly.
Right. But the build to it
was great.
Dude, the build to that was so good.
Yeah.
And then we were at the presser.
Yep.
In Vegas, and we're watching, and when Dustin took off his jacket and had the Dusty's favorite shirt on underneath it, the whole room just went, oh, like it was an audible, like everybody's like, oh fuck, this just crossed the line.
Well, it also was the cement that made Cody more of the heel in the match than Dustin. Like, it was very kind of unclear which way they were going, and at that point it really was the kind of like, oh yeah, that's a heel move with from what Dustin did, but it was kind of like, didn't it, in your mind, would you have called Cody the heel in that match? Like, it's uncertain, but it felt more that way. I mean, if it was today that match happened, then clearly it would be Cody would be. Oh,
absolutely.
Heel, but
it was, I don't know, those brother versus brother feuds, they definitely did a really good job of making you want to root for both of them.
Yeah. And I think I think we knew the match that Cody was going to be winning the match. Like, that wasn't really a terrible surprise.
Like, the inaugural.
But I think it was our first glimpse, too, at how good Dustin still was. And it was our first glimpse of, like, him outside of Goldie and, like, coming into this new, like, like, I can still go. Like, and he did. Yeah. And absolutely that match delivered. Now,
that match is still one of the top on that card.
Now, it did, however, make us feel a little bit sick. We were that close to the ring, and I'll talk about this and have told this story a million times on this podcast and to other wrestling fans and friends, but we were, like 4 rows back.
Fourth row.
And we had amazing seats, and we were right there in the action, and we could see, like, the protruding blood of Dustin and the squirt and
his pulse, like every time he pulsed, like we could see the arterial spray.
And I don't get that bad with blood. Like, I can handle a little bit of blood, but this was one of those that was like, oh boy, this was a bit much. And it's when they came near us, I think on an interaction on the outside. Yeah. And they were against the barricade or something, and it's not like blood hit me in the face by any means, but I smelled the blood in the air. Yep. And that was when it just kind of, like, I don't know, something curdled my stomach a little bit. Like, it made me feel gross.
It was the level of blood on that match, for those that are unfamiliar, was the level of blood that was in the Eddie Guerrero match.
Where he almost died.
Yeah.
That was it. Was that a Benoit? Was it Benoit?
It was either Benoit or JBL.
I can't remember exactly, but inconsequential.
Yeah.
But the same sort of level of blood, yes.
Yeah. It was everywhere.
So Dustin had some comments. I believe it was on the Way of the Blade podcast. And,
appropriate.
Right? And he talks about why that didn't necessarily go as well as it should have. And I'll read the quotes. So, we didn't do that in WWE unless you got busted open by the corner of the post or something for real, started Rhodes. It was hard way bleeding. And we all know this about WWE, right? They're against blading as a general rule. Like, there's really no blading that happens, in WWE anymore. It had been a long time, and I was out of practice. Let's put it like that. I went deep. I hit a vein, and it was excessive. I was actually scared at one point, and Cody looked at me and said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." But I'm looking down, and I've looked at the pictures from some of the photographers that took those shots, and they've caught it in midstream where the thing is shooting out, and it's dripping out of my head.
Yeah.
And it's constant. It did not stop. It would not stop, and I'm like, holy shit. this point,
Yeah.
he's made a mistake. Clearly, he
Yeah.
knows he's made a mistake. At one point, and I remember this moment, at one point where I gave Cody a top rope superplex, we almost fell. Remember that? I remember them. There was like a little bit of a knee
little
shake
bit of
and
a
a little bit of a
yeah.
like we're unsteady. We almost fell because I was dizzy and it was slippery up there. It was like, we've got to go now. If I had waited another second, I would have superplexed him onto the rope, so he would have landed kind of diagonal on the ropes, and it wouldn't have been good. It might have created some problems. Those are Dustin's words from.
I like how he's just so nonchalant. It might have created some problems. Like, yeah, you might have killed your brother, and then you might have died in the ring too.
Yeah, but as much as at the time, like, we knew, like, this is an excessive amount of blood, I didn't know that I felt like they were such professionals that, oh no, they've got this under control. Dustin's such a veteran. He knows how to.
You didn't think that there was a little bit of a fuck up, like you went a little too deep on that one?
I just felt because of the people in the ring that maybe like that it crossed my mind surely, but I just felt they had it, because of the people involved that they knew what they were doing. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I think that from moment one, like as soon as he started to like gush, I was just like, oh, he gigged too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think I've always been of the mindset of, oh, Dustin kind of fucked that one up.
And now looking back on it and with these comments, I would obviously have to say you're correct.
Also, like, dude, have you seen his forehead without the makeup on? Like, it looks like Dusty's, man. It is all fucked up.
Yeah. So
kind of got to be hard to find a spot that's not just all scar tissue up there.
Exactly. Saying all of that, I've always been like, I kind of understand how they do the proper gig, but do you know for sure, like, how, like, to break the fourth wall here and to break kayfabe, like, how exactly is it done in your mind? Like, where do they put it? How do they conceal it? How do they?
I know that they like break a razor blade.
I've heard
down.
that part, right? Like they tip the corner of a blade is what I've heard.
Yeah, and then they'll like wrap it with a little bit of
gaff tape or something.
Like athletic tape.
Yeah.
Because that's the stuff that they have access to all the time.
And it's around their wrists and so on.
Yeah. And then, like, I don't know. It just depends on where they keep it. Like, some of them will have a layer on their wrist, so they just peel it back, pop it open.
Some of it's probably in the trunk sometimes, right? Like, that's I've heard that before,
so,
which sounds terrifying.
Right. I don't want a razor anywhere near there. But yeah, then as far as that goes, it's just supposed to be a little quick slice.
Yeah.
Like a horizontal slice, because it doesn't go too deep. It'll bleed, and it also usually doesn't require stitches. But I mean, heat of the moment, out of practice with it. Also, I think the only person that's ever been truly practiced at it was Flair.
Yeah. Yep.
The gig master.
Yep.
But like, just do a little something like that.
Almost paper cutty in a sense, like not much more than that, right?
Right, exactly. It's just a paper cut with a sharp razor.
Cut yourself shaving, like that's the same.
Yeah, essentially,
thing.
Yeah. That's exactly what you're going for.
And when you're sweaty, and when the blood's flowing, like they
and
tell
the
people
adrenaline's pumping,
you can actually pump it too. You can like focus, like if it's in your head, you can focus those muscles so that it sort of like makes it, bleed a little bit more.
I've heard that for people, the hardest part is actually getting it to like pop.
Yes.
Like to get the skin to pop, and then
once you're there, you're good. Like,
yeah. But like, you just jab it in there, and then you mass transit yourself.
Jericho talked about this in one of his interviews since joining AEW, and I forget what match it was. I forget the exact context, but I can remember him saying like some of the younger guys wanted to blade, but had never actually done it, and there were matches and situations that called for it. And Jericho's like, well, shit, like, I know how to do it, but it's been, like, 20 years since I've done that shit, Like,
right.
I've not done that. At least 15, we'll say.
Sure.
And he was just like showing the. I want that fly on the wall.
You want to be in gig class, right?
Yeah,
like,
but I want to be the fly on the wall with him and Sammy Guevara, right? And like, okay, kid, this is how you do it. And like,
this is
I do find that fascinating. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, I do too. Like those kind of mechanics of pro wrestling, like
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that I'm
the
really
carnies
fascinated by.
in both of us, and that's the production side of things
Mhm.
that we both really enjoy. And
Yeah, that's why we both like Magic.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, 100%, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like,
No.
it doesn't matter to me if I know the trick, as long as the trick's done well, because I can appreciate it.
Exactly.
That's
100%.
I would much rather see someone gig themselves than what happened with, like, back in the day with not back in the day, but a couple years back with Orton and Lesnar, right? Like that whole situation where
dude, when he busted him
the
open
elbow,
with his elbow,
oh, like that,
split him open to the white meat, bro.
Now we're not talking. Now that to me isn't wrestling. That to me is now like.
No, you've gone straight combat.
Yeah, that goes combat, and that's not really what I signed up for. You know, like
no. If I wanted to watch UFC, I'd watch UFC.
Absolutely. Speaking of something that wasn't very UFC, and I think we'll hop right into it because it does transition between all of that, and actually ties in the whole Cody thing. Was the main event of Dynamite this past week. The street fight between Andrade and one Cody Rhodes.
Codith.
So a couple of things about this to start off. Number one, Owen's not happy because still no jeans, not a real street fight. Got to be real street fights. Always got to be in my denim, and always. Yep. I mean, to me, I still want the backlot, man. I still want the. I guess it's boiler room brawl or the.
No, you just want backstage action.
I want
you want the third arrow in SmackDown versus Raw.
This is it.
I know what you mean.
This is what I like when I hear street fight, and I know there's been a million street fights that take place in the ring, and it's not just AEW, it's WWE, it's pretty much every major promotion will do this. But to me, when I hear street fight, I think of Roddy Piper and Goldust in the backlot brawl, brawl. Like, give me an alley fight, right? Give me something where I get a taste of it. It can start in the ring, it can get back in the ring, but give me some taste.
Right, like the street fight between Best Friends and Proud and Powerful,
which was more or less just in between 5 or 6 cars that broke down.
That's what I'm saying. It was a parking lot brawl, but like that kind of thing, dude. At least Andrade was closer to street fight ready.
He was. He showed up in in a different kind of attire. Like it was more. How would you describe it? It was biz cash, man. But it was.
Yeah, exactly. What was it like? Almost like a cut-off version of his jacket. And he still had the gloves on, but he kept the pants. And he kept it I don't know. I thought it looked good. I'm like, you could wrestle like that and pull that shit off.
I think it looked kind of cooler than most of the stuff he's been wearing in AEW. If I'm being quite honest, like I thought.
Here's the problem with Andrade right now, especially with his entrance. Your shit takes too long, bro. Like, you need to, like, I understand you're trying to make a point, but if you're going to take the tie off, don't stumble with it.
He's done that a lot. Yeah.
Your shit needs to look smoother.
And then he has to hand it all off awkwardly to Jose and all that.
Yeah.
Like, that always feels kind of weird. Like,
everything feels awkward.
Stinted? Is that the stunted? Something like that. But yeah, like, it feels very just kind of. I don't know. It's
awkward.
Yeah.
I do like the jacket. I like the way the jacket comes.
I do too. And I like. It goes to your point that why it's taking too much time, but I do love that mask, man.
The mask is sick.
Oh, that mask.
I think
they
just he just needs a little bit. Like, I don't know, man. Make it a fake knot.
Yeah,
like you could
rip away tie something with just a like a bit of Velcro.
Slow
in the back.
that down.
Yeah,
like if you can just shave off those couple seconds of dicking with the tie, it makes a difference.
It's a weird thing to say, but you're absolutely right. I agree with you completely on that.
And I know it's nitpicky, but like, fuck, that's what the podcast is for.
That's what we do. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. Speaking of nitpicky for me, so Cody comes out, and I'm like, what happened to him? Because did he spend too much time in his sunbed? And was he on the beach for too long? Did he get sunburned and he have all like, because his back had all like this like looked like dead skin falling off of it. Like he looked like he was tarred and feathered at one.
Yeah,
at
but you know what that
points.
was.
I do know what it was in retrospect.
Right.
But it
But
was,
coming out, you're just like,
it was off-putting, was it not?
Yeah.
Like it was very off-putting.
oh, dude, he looked like Goldmember.
That's a very good way to put it. Now, with
Yeah.
Andrade, apparently he had, and if you don't know what we're talking about, breaking kayfabe here again, was obviously to do with the finish of the match, we'll get to in a second, but it was the flame retardant gel that had dried, I guess, to the skin, and Andrade had it apparently on underneath his shirt, and you could see he was, before he'd even stepped in the ring, like, yeah, you'd get sweaty, but at least it disguised it a little bit more. Like you didn't notice it really. It just never occurred to me. So that's like the first, 5 minutes of 10 minutes of this match. Like I'm looking at it and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with Cody Rhodes? Because if he's been at the beach getting suntanned where he's burning that much, that's really insensitive to JR's melanoma. First off. And
first of all,
second, it just was, again, it was off-putting. Like it was really, really weird. And I felt the commentary should have done something to acknowledge it. Like Taz said something, I want to say. Taz made some fleeting, like, what the hell's going on with Cody's back? But it was more like, no, like, not supposed to,
they're like, shut up, Taz. Shut the fuck up, old man.
Yeah, no. But they should have had some kayfabe reason for it or something. Like, I don't know how you defend it. But even if it was something as simple as, well, Cody's taking too much time in the tanning bed or something like that, like, give me a reason that looks like that. The match wasn't great. I know you probably haven't seen every second of it, but
I've seen enough to know that it was mediocre match.
It was mediocre. The spots in there where Cody's going for plunder underneath the ring. I forget what he picks first. He's like, nah, not that. Goes back under. Oh, there's a sledgehammer.
The first was the golden shovel.
No, that was the last.
Oh, was that the last?
That was the last.
Dude, okay, so here's...
Yeah, and it was like a crowbar or something first. He's like, nope, not that. Then he pulls out the sledgehammer, and he's like, looks at it, thinks about it for a second. Nope, not that.
No, yeah.
Then he gets the golden shovel, and look at this motherfucker.
There he is.
Hey, woo, welcome, good brother.
What's good, brothers? Sorry I'm late.
No, you're good. You're good, homie. I love your Super Click shirt.
Thank you.
That's a nice one. Oh, I might have to get that one. That's a good shirt.
That's a good one.
It's a good one. Yeah.
We were just talking, Matthew, real quick, just to bring him up to speed. We were just going over the Cody Andrade main event from Dynamite this past week.
So that's the only match I haven't watched yet. I've obviously seen the highlights. And know what happened. I've read a bunch of articles and seen everything. So
fair enough. Good to see you.
What I was going to say is I think that both companies, AEW and WWE, have just been a little too much. They've been a little too happy taking shots at each other. It's going into this weird metaverse now where it's just like, we got the golden shovel. We got the sledgehammer. We got Punk and MJF cutting promos, and then you got Edge and Miz.
It sort of feels at this point that it's almost below AEW, and it's coming across as cheap. And I feel like that they'd be better off straying away from that mentality now. It almost made sense in the very, very early days. In the first year of AEW, I can kind of give that some more credit. But at the point they're at now, when they're doing so well in the ratings, when it is an obvious success, it's like, to be honest,
low-hanging fruit.
It's low-hanging fruit, and it's kind of punching down at a point that you don't need to do it anymore.
Correct.
But yeah, as far as the match goes, the golden shovel thing, I mean, it was amusing. Did the match kind of needed something, to be honest, to kind of break up some of the monotony, which we would finally get in the finish of the match. But the Golden Shovel comes out. I believe at that point it was that Jose ran out with the taser, and who knew that Jose is a fucking stud? Like, did you see how jacked that motherfucker is? Like, whoa!
This is what I'm saying.
I seriously, I heard somebody else say this on another podcast, and they were like, and I kind of can see why they thought it, because it was so quick when he came out. Someone's like, is that Wardlow? Like, why is Wardlow helping Andrade? Because the dude was like fucking ripped.
He's swole.
He's been covered up in like that button down and slacks. I couldn't tell.
Could one of you, preferably Matthew, because I think you're probably, I don't know, it doesn't matter, but does Jose have a wrestling career before this? Like, is he somebody that we just don't know, that is somebody, like, he must have something.
Look, he's already on it. Like, I can see his eyes. He's up in the Matrix already. He's just like
all over it.
16 monitors. He's like me when I'm in Skyport.
But it feels like, right? Like, that the dude must have
I would think, unless he's just like some random dude that Andrade knows.
Maybe he trains with him, something like that. But that's
how a lot of...
I guess it's an indictment of how kind of like mediocre this match was. That one of the things that I'm talking about is how sexy Jose was when he ran out with his ripped ass muscles.
He was that was pure beefcake. That's what that was.
Yeah. Like that would, like, Vince McMahon probably looked at that and was like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? I want that guy. Give me that guy. He's Hispanic, and we need the Hispanics, and he's beefy. Let's get the beefy Hispanic part.
Drew McIntyre looks Hispanic, but he's not.
Does Drew McIntyre look Hispanic? To Vince McMahon, he probably
I think
does.
to Vince McMahon, yeah. To me, no.
So there's not actually a ton. I think I'd have to do a little bit more digging, but I mean, the gist here, so Lucha Blog, they actually are the ones who solved it. So it's they found it's Jose Garcia. He's wrestled in California and Mexico. He worked as a local talent for WWE a couple of times under the name Jose Vargas and Andy Tavares. And then it's also noted that he wrestled as Principe Orion in Mexico in the mid 2010s. So, I mean, he has done stuff, but it doesn't seem like much notable, and
nothing we'd really be familiar with.
Yeah, and if Lucha Blog, that's all they can find. It's not
a
very
reputable
notable
source, Lucha Blog.
Yeah.
Now, I'm guessing, Matthew, even though you haven't seen the match, you have at least seen the finish or know about the finish.
Yeah, the botch.
Well, it wasn't the botch. I mean, are you calling it a botch?
I don't think Cody was supposed to go through that table. I mean, he was supposed to maybe hit a part of it, but I don't think he was supposed to take like the full on brunt.
If he wasn't, then like, okay, that you make a great point there, because it goes back to what me and Duncan were talking about earlier with the fire gel, the fire resistant gel or what have you. Mm-hmm. They were both wearing. Andrade was wearing it underneath his stuff. It feels like, well, if the move was supposed to go exactly as it went down, Andrade wouldn't have needed any of that on. Andrade was nowhere near that fire. Like, let's be real.
Nowhere.
No. Maybe his head, like, might have thrown some in my hair or something just to be safe. But I don't know that you might be right. It maybe didn't. It was not intended to have Cody take the brunt of the fire spot through the table. It seems to me like.
Because it was a DDT, right?
It was a suplex.
It was like a superplex.
Was it a suplex?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a superplex. But dude, like, it literally looked like Cody put himself through the table.
He overshot it and put himself through the table rather than because there was a moment when I'm like, oh, Andrade's gonna pin him, and that's how he gets the win. Like, I thought for a split second, and honestly, that would have been great because it would have been
great. Also, Brandy took too fucking long.
Yeah, well, that's Brandy.
I know, she's just like.
Well, and you could see when they were getting up on the ropes, it seemed like they weren't stable. Like
Yep.
Cody wasn't stable. Like, and then it was like kind of like, oh shit, we got to fucking go.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
it like
Can't
it
let the
seemed
fire
it
go-
seemed
go
like
out.
exactly, and it seemed like a little rushed at that point.
Nah, you make an excellent point there. And from just like if you're doing straight kayfabe, Andrade would have won the match. Like that's like the flaw
Should
in it.
have.
Now they couldn't have called that quick on the fly. I don't think that would have been hard. But it was also a
Cody
a dumb
could
move.
have,
It was
but
a dumb
nowhere
move.
Well, yeah,
Why-
but
why
Cody
did-
could have called the audible, but nowhere in Cody's mind did he think
Right.
Andrade should win this match right now.
Yeah.
Cody was just
exactly.
like, nah, I'm
Never.
still gonna win.
I'm still
Yeah.
gonna win. Now, did it look cool with fucking him pinning Andrade with his back on fire? Yeah, it looked cool. Like it did, you know, and it worked out in the end. I think most like a lot of wrestling fans were all trying to figure out what the hell Cody is doing. Right? Like, where is this story going? Where is it
Yeah.
ending? Where do we? What are we supposed to think of Cody? And I want to talk about that for a couple of seconds because I know you guys probably have some opinions on that general subject.
I mean,
I mean, the thing is he going heel or is he not going heel? And is he
Right.
slowly turning, even though he has said he wouldn't, and this, that, and the other, but that's all part of the work, right? Possibly.
It could be, yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know. I don't know. Part of me still feels like he's so pompous and fucking cocky that he's just not gonna do it.
But is
because
that part of the gimmick too? And
I
that's
know,
what's
right?
so it's
is he really this good?
We
yeah.
worked ourselves into a shoot. And
This
Yeah,
guy,
brother.
if it is what we're saying in that regard, it's absolutely fucking genius. And we know Cody can play both an amazing face and an amazing heel. He can do it
Yeah.
on both sides. He said in past interviews, right from the beginning of AEW, I don't believe in heels and faces. That's why he comes out of the middle tunnel. And I had
Also, his gigantic ego.
there's that as well, which we don't know if it's real, if it's not, if it's played up, if it's like how much of that plays into the gimmick or the.
I feel like at least part of it has to play in because they make them put that stupid fucking center entrance ramp for him every time, even if he's not on the show.
That is accurate. That is accurate. I wrote something down and I want to see if you guys agree with this because yes, he doesn't see wrestling right now as having heels and faces or whatever, and he's not ever gonna be a heel or a face.
Sure.
I had this thought the other day and I'm like, no, he's not a heel or a face. He's neither a heel or a face. He's literally both.
Yes.
He's literally both at the same time, and that's different than being a tweener. Do you understand what I mean? Like he is not an anti-hero, but he is both at the same time, and it's sort of dependent on the crowd, dependent on who you are. It's reminiscent of John Cena sucks in a way. He's a face, but to some people he's a heel. And that's why this is so interesting because I want to see it develop. I don't know that we're ever going to get full heel Cody Rhodes, but we might not ever get full babyface Cody Rhodes anymore. We might have something that this is the character that he's developing that will be the end character. He is just Cody Rhodes, and that's dependent on who or what
like
you
love him or hate him,
right.
take it or leave it.
That's
Right.
it. That's it. That's I think the direction that he is going with it.
Dude, it's 100% Homelander.
Yeah.
Which I haven't
Like-
seen. That's from The Boys. Is that right?
It's from
Yeah.
The Boys, yeah. So,
Great show.
but it's like, it's exactly what it is. It's just like to the crowd, it's one thing, and then when you're behind the scenes, it's another.
That's it. That's exactly what it is.
And like, dude,
That's a great
like,
call.
and even down to his ring gear right now being
Right.
very reminiscent of Homelander.
Yeah.
And like, it's
Playing
just
into
like,
it, right?
is he? Yeah, like it's a really genius angle to lean into because you're working both sides.
Yeah,
and I think
Homelander's this hero to everyone, like everyone around the world, except for those other superheroes and like the people who know him, like you said, behind the scenes. And so it's how do you choose to perceive him, which is an actually kind of genius way of doing it, because you don't have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
Right. You can just be you, and it's all about the perception, because perception is reality, especially in pro wrestling.
And it can be feud and it can be feud dependent as well. It means
Yes.
it's so fluid when it goes back and forth. Like he can literally do anything. And I have hate for the Cody of boring matches and throwing himself like overindulging himself with his own product, right? Like that's where
buying into his own bullshit.
That's where I'm boo Cody boo. But do I have respect for the guy for, without Cody there is no AEW. I have, do I have respect for him for what he's done for the industry, even as far as like I can't even knock somebody for taking other Hollywood chances and doing Go Big Show or doing the roads to the top, all that, like
renewed for a second season. It must be doing something right.
Exactly. So
6 episodes the first season.
As a person, I can't knock him.
How much money is he making though? Like, dude,
but
like,
as a
he's
character,
expanding his brand.
But as a character, I can boo him because it does feel like, and that's why the golden shovel thing in that match was appropriate. It wasn't just a nod to like a Triple H or any of those things. What it was him acknowledging that I have buried Alistair or Malachi Black a little bit. I have sort of buried Ogogo. I have buried Andrade in this match. I've taken myself and I've put myself on that pedestal, and I'm acknowledging that with this symbol of the golden shovel. So again, I think he is more. I don't think he's as on. I used to go back and forth. I still do, but I think he's more. But I think he's more aware than he's letting on, and I think that it's part of the gimmick. I think it's part of the game that he's playing.
I agree. I think that he is much more aware than he lets on, and I think he is. That's part of the genius of what he's doing right now. Is he is very aware
now.
And
sorry, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say, that being the case, he is also aware that everybody perceives him as constantly putting himself over, as constantly like just being Dusty miniature and everything like that. So he's leaning into it, whether it's accurate or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the old, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that's what's happening right now. He's turning into Triple H. And I think if he plays that through,
it can be amazing.
Come on, man. Like smarmy Triple H-esque Cody is like a heel, oh God. It's perfect. It writes itself. Just do it.
And while he's not able to challenge for the world title picture, it's a perfect place for him to be. But if he were to take more of a step in the heel direction, and hear me out, he would have to renege on his, promise that he would never challenge for that. And that's where you can even get further into like the executive using his powers, the not that none of us want like authority figures. I'm not saying that, but the kind of abuse of authority in a sense, and him playing into that Triple H role as, I know I said this once upon a time, so it's and moving in that direction.
Or you do it something where like he's just given a title, doesn't have to challenge for it way.
That's a good point as well. That's a good point.
There's a lot of ways to expound upon that.
And he did kind of, at least in an interview a while ago, say something to the effect of like, I stand by, like, I'm not gonna challenge if I had it my way. And he's like, Tony can choose to write it in and say that I'm going to, and he's like, and I would have to do it, which maybe is a little foreshadowing, maybe not, right. but it does give that opportunity and that out to do it. Yeah, so
That's-
you could, although it could be something that makes everyone, if he did want to go complete heel, right? Let's say that he did choose to go that way. That would be a great way to do it. If he's like, you know what, I said I was never going to do it, but you know what, I'm going to do it.
I am
because
going to do it.
I
Yeah,
am
I do
going to
what I
do it,
want.
and I can do it.
Yeah.
You know, and like you know what, I said I wasn't going to, but I'm going to.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because
and nobody
I
can
deserve
stop
it,
me.
and no one can stop me. And like everyone, that would get a lot of heat.
That would get a lot of heat. The other thing that I think is being underplayed, and maybe it's I don't know if they want us to forget it. Maybe this is or something that should be, or that is kind of like actually lying there underneath the surface that's been in the background, is the fact that he did get that mist from Malachi Black. And what if that mist has infected Cody and made him, turning him slowly over time? Maybe that.
Right. I think we've mentioned that before, like
have.
the slow poisoning. Like, love that idea, and I love the slow burn of it.
And
I hope that they are smart enough to play that.
And the only reason I bring that up even more directly is because of what has happened now with Pac, and with what he's wearing an eye patch right now, and after being blasted in the eye with the black mist from Malachi Black, he's wearing an eye patch, and all I want is for when that eye patch comes off,
for it to be
there's the contact. Like I don't need I don't even need the full makeup, right? Like yet, because it's not that infected yet, but the eye is there. And Pac is the first member of the House of Black. And then down the road, maybe because of, you could make the argument that Cody had more of a moral compass and it took longer to infect him or something like that.
Sure.
But can you imagine
Pac was already a bastard, so he was already
exactly
angry.
He was closer to it, right? So what if you had a stable that Cody was a member of the House of Black underneath Malachi, thereby righting the wrongs of the Golden Shovel and burying someone like a Malachi Black? No, it'll all be fine in the end because Cody is sort of working underneath Malachi.
I don't even think that, like, I don't really necessarily view Malachi Black as having been buried.
I don't as much either as a lot of other people will say.
I know a lot of he lost a bullshit match. Like, whatever. It'll be fine.
Well, out of the 3, didn't he win 2? So
yeah.
So really, at the end of the day, I mean, Cody wins in the end, ha ha ha. But Malachi's got in his head, like all this stuff. Like I don't know that is over in my mind, and I think that the way it could progress would be to do something with the House of Black and to have like these like very, very, rather than just developing a stable overnight, you have these very prominent people kind of being infected, like you said, kind of rolling into it. Now Cody's a long shot. I don't know that that's going to happen, but it
would be great writing if you did do that and you're like, all right, well, Cody did get one of those 2, and then you worked it in to canon and that storyline where eventually, Malachi Black, it's like it was part of his plan to let him get that one right somehow, where it's like I got you on 2, but then you got me. But the thing is, I actually got you in the end because this was all part of the plan.
Battle to win the war.
Exactly. And I did it to like get you to this certain point so I could then continue to take advantage. It's like an abusive relationship where you're like, it's like you say all these bad, and then they're like, oh, you just won, like, or I just won.
It's
like oh, it's okay. It's like there's that little bit of hope,
Like it's the Venom symbiote is exactly what it is.
That's
like it slowly takes over until eventually it's just going to overtake. Like I hope that that's where they go with this. I would love to see it.
The Pac eye patch was the key that like this means something to me. And I'm hoping I'm not reading too much into it, but that they wouldn't have done that without it meaning something down the road.
I really hope, like you,
yeah.
When that eye patch comes off, I hope the contact's there.
Just the contacts there. Maybe a
Just
little.
the contact. That's all it needs.
It's all it needs to
maybe
be.
a
Do a
little
little
bit
black if you want, but yeah.
maybe a little shiner underneath.
Yes.
Subtlety.
Subtlety
goes a very long way in pro wrestling.
Well, it's been
in the
forgotten.
same. Well, yeah, exactly. That's why it seems so fresh.
Other members, if you were to like fantasy, like in your mind, the House of Black, I know who you're gonna go with right away.
I was gonna say,
Duncan.
don't ask me questions you already know the answer to. Matthew, you start this one.
Who
I mean,
else would you
in
throw in
AEW
there?
right now, or
I mean, I feel like you can choose the world as far as like maybe released wrestlers or current AEW wrestlers. You know.
I mean, the number one I think is probably Duncan's number one also, which is Brody King.
Brody fucking
Right.
King. Yeah.
I'll give you
But-
one. I'll give you my one more before we continue on that because I feel that's kind of an obvious. Another obvious that's kind of waiting in the wings, Buddy Matthews.
I think that's an obvious waiting in the wings. I would love to see the Briscoes.
That would fit.
So that was something that you guys talked about on the last podcast. You were talking about tag teams, and you were saying that they've kind of gotten away from
The
these tag
division
teams,
is
and
not
they're-
as strong as it once was. It's not.
No, and they're like putting people together, right? Because
Right.
they don't have actual. And I was like thinking as I was listening to that podcast that you guys did, I was going, "Fucking Briscoes!" I actually said it out loud walking
Yep.
my dog, and I was like, "The Briscoes." I was like,
Mhm.
"That's what needs to come in." And that would really, I would love to see Briscoes and Lucha Bros. I would, that's a fucking
my
fire
God.
match right there.
Briscoes FTR.
Yeah, like you could do a lot. Like they could bring in kind of a whole new life to that.
I feel
division.
like GCW is going to be the bridge between like Ring of
The
Honor,
Ring of
Indies, all
Honor.
that scene to AEW.
Yep.
Because I know the Briscoes just showed up at GCW. They're going to be, dude, GCW is doing an event in Detroit at a club called Harpo's. I have been to so many fucking concerts at Harpo's. It is in the heart of the hood.
Nice.
Like-
Appropriate.
Yeah,
You said
like
this
you
was
are
this was GCW.
GCW.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well-
they're doing it, and Rhino was announced for it. And I'm just like, oh, and the Briscoes I think are going to be there. So like,
Well,
I literally am.
we would be
I think that would be.
remiss. We would
yeah.
be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that GCW just sold out the Hammerstein fucking ballroom. And,
Right.
and the ECW arena, and apparently have done something with the seating, so it will make it the highest occupancy wrestling event
Mhm.
in that building ever. And
Yeah.
good on them. We've talked about it before, but what an amazing, like, kind of out of nowhere having this promotion sort of getting its major push, and Matt Cardona being a huge part of it. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if you sell that event out without kind of Matt Cardona, who's had the best career since he's left WWE. It was the biggest
dude,
blessing
they just
in
want to see
disguise.
him and Chelsea get their asses handed to them.
Weirdly, I don't know if it was a GCW event right before we went on air. It might have been GCW. But a weird match that has been booked is one Josh Alexander from Impact Wrestling in an
Okay.
in an intergender match with Ruby Soho.
Interesting.
And that one's a real wild card for me because I want to talk a little bit about that Ruby Soho Chris Statlander match in the TBS tournament. Did you get to see that one, Matthew?
Yeah, I did.
I have mixed emotions about it. I really thought that Statlander should have won by the end of this, and I felt that and I have a soft spot for Ruby, but man, oh man, there's something not clicking with her for me right now. I don't know if that's just me, if that's you guys, but Ruby she's coming across, especially in the ring, as far too WWE.
Yeah.
There's some overselling. There's some she needs to be stiffer. I'll just say it right there. She needs to be stiffer. She's not working in a way that is conducive to AEW because we're so used to at this point kind of like, I guess, more of a stiff style, and maybe it's comes from some of like those Japanese wrestlers, especially on the women's side. But it looked weak at parts, and it felt like Statlander. It should have been the other way around. It should have been Soho carrying the match, but it felt like Statlander carried the match to me. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but that was just my thoughts.
No, I can definitely see that, and it does go back to a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned that Ruby Soho she doesn't have the edge even in her entrances. It's like she comes out with that smile, and it just doesn't. Nothing about it feels like the way that it should for me.
It feels like fabricated punk rock.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100%. 100%.
Corporate punk rock.
Punk rock, and like I think that's
which is worse than not being punk rock at all.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's what maybe you're seeing in the ring, because now I can totally see that. It's like with the entrance and the way that she interacts and things like that, like just her mannerisms walking to the ring, that smile and things like that, like she's not hard hitting, and that's it. It doesn't come across in the ring either. She doesn't have the style. Like it is kind of too WWE. It is a little too PG. It's a little too protected.
And the sell that she did after she didn't pin her with whatever moves that she did, like that overblown, like, boo, like she's already got those big bug eyes. She looks like a fucking alien to begin with. But then then
she looks like more of an alien than Statlander.
Yeah, she does. That's. Yeah, gimmick switch, please.
Right.
But yeah, like it felt that moment, and I know that was supposed to be like a huge moment, but it felt too WWE for me. Like I don't. Maybe I'm being too cruel. Maybe I'm being too sort of
No, she just needs to be a little bit more of a crust punker.
She needs an edge. She needs to be a heel.
Yeah.
She needs
go hang out with the people you used to hang out with for a weekend.
She needs another
not Liv Morgan.
She needs a month at Stardom or something to wake her up, or I don't know. She needs to go to Japan, do some hard hitting rough and tumble matches, and
she just needs to get her ass handed to her by Nyla Rose one good time.
Yeah,
that would work too. So where are we
she
at?
needs to do something that'll get her angry.
Where are we at in that tournament? Where are we at in that tournament? We're at the semis
Matthew's
now?
gonna look it up, but Ruby Soho is there, and I don't even fucking know who else. I swear to God, that tournament is going on forever.
It really is.
Like the longest tournament.
Well, I'll say this on Dynamite, even Excalibur and Shivani were confused, because Excalibur called it the quarterfinals, and then Shivani was calling it the semifinals, and then they were not on the same page about what was going on with that. So,
one of them doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, one of them doesn't know what they're talking about. I would venture a guess it's Shivani.
So now we have semifinals. So Nyla Rose versus Ruby Soho, and then Jade Cargill and Thunder Rosa.
So it's going to be Soho Thunder Rosa.
And it's going to happen at Winter's Coming, probably, right?
That would make sense.
Yeah, they have one more week, and then they'll do it at Winter's Coming, and then it'll be that's like taking you up to the last thing before it gets to TBS. So then they show up on TV. Yeah, they would, I think, or do they do it as one of the first things on TBS?
No, I think they would have to do that title will be crowned on TBS the first night.
So do a semifinal match at Winter is Coming.
Yeah. So next week you do the semifinals. You do the semifinals over Rampage and Dynamite.
Yeah.
Over the next week or so, and then you would go to that Winter is Coming. Well. No, I guess that doesn't make sense. Never mind.
Well, no, I think you can go either way. I think you could do it that the TBS championship could be crowned on TNT at Winter is Coming, but I think that your idea, Duncan, is probably better, that you would, on your inaugural episode of was it Rampage, right? Rampage is going to TBS.
Yeah.
So
no. Dynamite.
They've changed it. It flipped.
Dynamite's going to TBS, but Rampage is staying.
Is that right?
Yes.
I think you're right, because originally it was the other way around, I want to say, and then they moved. I think you're right about that, but either way, the time slot's not doing them any favors.
Right.
Yeah. I want to go back. I want to go back for a second to what was it? To House of Black really quickly, if that's okay.
Yeah, Dynamite moves to TBS on January 5th.
Gotcha. So we'll okay. So in that case, are we gonna have both? So it would be on Dynamite, having the TBS, maybe the first episode of Dynamite on TBS. You could do that, but then do you have the world title, the women's world title, stay on Dynamite? And
I don't think that matters. I don't think it has to be show specific.
I don't think it does, because of course they're the same network, but it's the TNT title that sort of like confuses me. Is like, does that become more of a Rampage belt that stays on TNT?
Maybe. We'll find out.
Which actually would be kind of cool.
That would be cool. It would actually it would make you want to tune into.
Exactly.
Not that I love tuning into Rampage. I know we're missing it right now, but
not yet.
Not yet.
Oh.
It's not on until 10.
It's not until 10. You're right. Time zones, man. But I would like that, actually. I mean, I think keep it on the network. I mean, that would make sense to me.
No, I think that's kind of a cool way to do it. It would, and you can do open challenges with it. You can do all sorts. So I think there's
right.
There's a lot to be said there. But back to your thoughts. You said you had House of Black thoughts.
Yeah, so I pulled up the roster on their website and I was looking through it, and so I don't know. I'm like, Lance Archer, because I'm thinking current roster, right?
I don't hate
That's what I'm thinking. So Lance Archer could be one, or Butcher and Blade.
Be better than the Hardy family buttfuckers, like whatever they do over there. That needs to just go away, right?
Yeah, it 100% needs to go
away. It's not doing anything.
And they're all mismatched and weird. Like it doesn't.
It's
why are Private Party and Butcher and Blade in the same stable? That doesn't
make zero. And then who else is in there? Matt Hardy,
Bunny, and Matt Hardy, and I feel like there was somebody else, but maybe weren't not 2.0. The flashy tag team. I'm forgetting their names. They were in there for a while. The one with the guy that his head shaved. Hybrid.
TH2.
TH2. Thank you. Yeah. They were in there for a while. I don't know if that's
Angelico and Jack Evans.
Yeah. Thank you.
Huh.
But I mean, again, why? I guess because Matt Hardy has money and he'll pay you to do blah blah blah. Like, okay.
I guess, but he hasn't been really doing shit lately.
Which is good. We needed to get rid of that. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I hope that it doesn't come back.
I'm interested in the developments now with Team Taz and Dante Martin and Leo Rush as of this past week.
I was surprised by that.
Well, I was very. I think this is a swerve. I think we're gonna get swerved. I think this is all a part of Leo's master plan, and I think this is gonna be something that Dante is going to turn on Team Taz.
Do you think he gets hooked to do it too?
I think he brings his brother back, and then we have a 3-man stable or something going on with
so you have that stable versus Team Taz.
Yeah, that's something like that. Something like that. Because I just don't. I don't know. With the chemistry that Dante and Leo have shown in those matches, I just can't buy that on like the non-kayfabe side of things that Tony would want to rip him apart. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, it seems like so good.
What if Brian Cage came back and joined up with that?
And align with that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would actually be cool. And now you have, like, that would work. That would really work. What was
at least to take on Team Taz, like, it doesn't have to be a permanent thing.
Top Flight. That was the name.
Top Flight.
See, like, how much more memorable has Leo Rush and Dante been in the few weeks they've been together than Top Flight was for the whole run that they've been together, right? Like, so
they were good when they first showed up, I think, because they were so young and like we saw what they could do.
Right.
But so did his brother get injured? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he did.
So he's been out. So I mean, I think it is kind of the best thing that could have happened, because when they and when they do bring him back into this, like it will have elevated them, and
Dante's a
that's
star
kind of
now.
what was needed.
Dante
He
would
is.
never have got this like rub or this push like if they were still in this tag team. I don't think. It's also,
for sure.
It's hindered the tag team division, but it's also kind of made a new star out of a guy. So what is going to be funny is just see like, and it kind of is even started in this past Dynamite, is trying to see like Dante kind of trying to look tough. Because he doesn't,
Not at all.
He's got that mopey fucking face. He's got.
You
mopey
guys talked
face.
about it on the last podcast that I couldn't be on. He is very fucking mopey.
He's
like
mopey as fuck.
He's fucking Eeyore.
Yeah.
I don't
know, Leo.
Maybe tomorrow. Guess I'll do the flip. Yeah. Well, speaking of gimmicks, I wrote this down. I don't necessarily know if this would be a hot take there, Owen, as you talked about on the radio show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
but
hot take.
I fucking don't think Hangman's very charismatic, and I fucking want more out of him, and he fucking bores me to shit when he does his promos. He was boring me to shit when he came out and he did commentary at the beginning. He doesn't, and like when he went up and like he needs to fucking talk some shit. Like I wrote down, so he doesn't come off very charismatic,
I'd
or
agree.
like he has a lot of confidence. He's boring on commentary. The way he talks in promos and on commentary just kind of makes him seem like a pussy. Not sure if he's going for like a silent, stoic cowboy, kind of like John Wayne, but it's not fucking working for me. Like literally, he doesn't come off like a fucking champion to me.
No, and that's the problem.
Is why Brian Danielson is going to take that title from him.
When Brian Danielson was in front of his face, like he's not doing what he should. Like there, and even when he was on commentary and they're talking about Brian Danielson and he's looking at him, he should have been like, yeah, I can't wait to get in the ring with him. I'm gonna whoop his ass. Yeah, like I wanted some like a little bit of like Stone Cold to come out or something, like anything that you would like say you're gonna whoop his ass, as opposed to just sitting there fucking silently. Like I don't know.
It's one step above Liv Morgan crying.
I can't do it. Like he's a good wrestler, and I know we all liked the arc and there, but like he doesn't. He, at least to me, and I'd like your guys' opinion on this because this is just my personal opinion, but he does not exude, I own this fucking championship.
He's not the face of the company for me.
I don't feel as negative on it as I think both of you do. Meanwhile, I have said before, and I will stand by the fact that I think this is going to be a short-lived title reign. I don't think this is long for the world, but I don't necessarily think it's as bad as you guys are saying either. I do like Hangman. I do think he has charisma. I think
we all like Hangman,
and I think there's
and we know he has charisma. It's just not coming through right now.
Yeah, I will say this: I have zero faith in Daniel Bryan winning, or Brian Danielson winning that belt. Winner is coming. He will get it eventually, but the time to strip it off Hangman is not yet. No way in hell. No way in hell. Brian Danielson takes that belt at Winter.
Dude, Hangman is falling flat as a champion. I think the shine is coming off.
I think what we're seing as well with Daniel Bryan. Sorry, goddamn it, Brian Danielson.
Just call him Brian.
Just say Brian, Owen. Just say Brian. It seems to me that the arc that Brian is on with becoming such a nasty fuck. By the way, still coming out through the face tunnel, which is fun.
Yeah,
I do like that. That was all meant for Mox. And I don't think that Hangman loses to Bryan. Not yet. I think that that belt changes hands when Mox comes back. And
you could have Mox come in and fuck up the match so that Hangman holds on to it.
That's kind of how I'm thinking. Wangman, by the way, if you've not seen the poster, Wangman.
Wangman.
Did you guys see that? Have you seen that poster? Like
no.
the lettering on it, like they did an H which makes it look like a W. Like he's Wang Man. And Brian tweeted actually like, "All right, Wang Man, I'm coming after you."
So I mean, I know I went kind of hard there on it, but it's true. Like again, I like Hangman. I think he's a fucking good wrestler. I like the gimmick. It's just as a champion, he doesn't exude what Duncan, you said he's not like the face of the, and
he's not the top guy
agree.
For you.
And
he's not a top guy. Yeah.
Like everything he was doing before this, and I'm glad he got it, but I think this needs to be like a stepping stone to like help make him bigger, or he needs to step it up.
Would the Motorhead song, "The Chase is Better Than the Catch"?
Yeah, there you go.
Would he benefit from a heel turn?
I mean,
could he pull that off?
I don't
know that he can pull off a heel right now. Honestly, no.
No, I don't think he could pull it off. I don't think they need to. Because if he was going to be a heel, he would still also have to exude that confidence. Like again, I don't know, the way it came off was like, as I was thinking about when I was watching Dynamite, listening to the commentary, looking at his facial expressions, thinking about all of the times in the past, because it kind of built up, and I was like, is he trying to do this like stoic cowboy thing? Like I'm quiet and I'll like and I was like, but it just doesn't come across that way.
Yeah, something's not clicking.
Something's not. Do you think he holds on to it till Revolution? That's in March, which by the way,
I'm sorry, you mean
Revolution, which rumor has it is going to be in Orlando.
Yeah, Amway, which there's always a couch to crash on in Orlando, Matthew. You're
I know welcome. It depends on when in March it's going to be, because March 2nd or something. I just bought tickets to stay with my buddy in Miami. We're going to go to Panama.
Oh, just as a drive up the road. Come up.
Yeah.
You mean
Panama's not. Yeah.
my.
Yeah, Panama's way south, but.
Fair enough. Well, we'll get to that. When and if it is actually in Amway, and you know what, that would be pretty badass if it was.
It would be. Like, real quick before we jump into predictions and going back to the Hangman thing, like you have essentially two of the quote unquote millennials that are like really being elevated right now. You have Hangman, you have MJF.
Oh,
one of them is light years ahead of the other.
Yeah. God damn, he's good.
He is. Except I didn't like the fucking dog thing.
I love the dog thing. I loved it.
You didn't need to do that because
he's gonna go to sleep.
That's a line.
You didn't need to do
it. Okay, I like it because that dog looks like a mangy pound dog. But
he is a mangy pound dog.
I know. And I just found it okay. No other character in the world can get away with it. The only person that can get away with that line is MJF.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
If anybody else delivers it, it's no good. But it's so God damn it, MJF. Perfect.
I'm just saying, even in kayfabe, if you talked about killing my dog, I would probably fucking murder you. Not in your sleep. I would make sure you looked in my eyes.
Exactly.
He was one of the standouts on that Dynamite when they had all these random wrestlers filling in JR's spot doing, he
was great.
Yeah, he was great. There was a couple of.
I loved his Hanukkah outfit too.
Oh my God.
Punk really didn't do well again. That match with Lee Moriarty did not do well. He looked blown up. He
constantly gassed.
Yep. And then even fucked up that one line he had about Larry David's pajamas. Like, that line would have maybe been funny had you not stumbled on it. Like that. To be honest, like I know we've all got our positions on Punk, but
he's lost a couple steps.
But then when he sat there in the ring leaning against the ropes while MJF was fucking ribbing him pretty good. Yeah. But then when he ran up the ramp. And he had time to recover while he sat there for a few minutes, but then he ran up the ramp, and then he's fucking gassed again.
Yep.
Did you notice that? Like, if you watch it, like he stood there for a few minutes, and then he ran up the ramp and was like, like totally gassed. I'm like, dude, fuck.
Yeah.
So are you not doing any cardio on your days off?
Which is
Jesus?
hilarious because he bragged so much before he like signed with AEW that he was always doing cardio, wasn't doing any wrestling training because he knew how to do that, but he was staying up on top of his cardio.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like maybe that wasn't the case.
That match was boring as fuck.
It was boring.
Most CM Punk matches are boring as fuck.
It's getting that way, isn't it? It's like Eddie Kingston, like, to me, was the exception. Like that.
Yeah.
It just seems like to me, and maybe this is me projecting it, so this is how I perceived it. It's just like the crowd gets really quiet now. Like they pop for him.
They
right?
like the song.
They like
the
song,
entrance.
And he comes to the ring, like the entrance, but then once the bell rings, it's just like
it's like a Japanese crowd.
And how weak did that GTS look? I don't know if you guys saw it.
Horrible.
Oh my god!
I think that was maybe the worst of all of them, but none of them have looked great.
Like, if you're gonna do that move, you've got to do it right, because that's like, first off, you stole it from Kenta anyway, and if you're gonna do it, like, do it fucking right. And it looked half-assed, and that's probably because he was gassed out. Like, it probably was just, it wasn't intentional, that we're not lazy, but it was just like, oh, this is all I got. Like, that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, that's what it always feels like when he hits that fucking move now.
It does. Before we do get into predictions, I do want to just bring up a couple other things with Winter is Coming. We do have the, and it brings up MJF. We've got the Battle Royale for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Possibly with MJF winning it for the third time in a row, right? The third year in a row. How do you see this going? How do you see this, like, kind of progressing? Do you see it with MJF at the end of the day winning it? I've heard a couple of interesting predictions, but I wanted to throw it out to you guys first.
As of right now, I think you keep it with MJF. Like, he's used it so many times. He's won it twice. Let him get the three-peat.
He uses it perfectly. Let's be real with it. Like,
he has used it perfectly.
Absolutely.
Let him take it so he can continue that bragging, right? Pompous, arrogant, like, it's part of the character. He doesn't need to win it a fourth time, right? So but he can use this as part of his arsenal, which will eventually get him.
He can have the hat trick on the diamond ring type thing, something like that.
Exactly. And then he's like, I've got the ring. Maybe he gets the title for a little bit in the next year, not a long time or something, like, or it builds him up to it and he, like, loses it next year, right? And then he eventually gets the title shot because he gets so fucking angry. Then he goes after it. I think that this could allow him to. There are so many other ways you could go with it, but I think it would be smart to keep that as part of his arsenal.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I have two ideas for it, but Duncan, if you have any, by all means.
I don't even know who else is in the damn match, so I don't really have any ideas for it.
Well, Wardlow's in there, and I think that it's not this year, but maybe if you're following your line of logic, Matthew, and he keeps it this year, Wardlow should be the guy to take it off MJF, because, like, it would just make sense, right? Like, unless you want to develop that feud for, like, sooner, after the CM Punk thing with MJF, like, but right now it feels like it might be a cool way to elevate Wardlow. They did a good squash match with him the other day. So it feels like they're invested in Wardlow. Wardlow's going to be a big guy. Wardlow with that ring would kind of be fitting. But then there was this other this internet theory that kind of got me thinking, because what is our boy Miro doing right now, other than being super mad and yelling in white rooms?
He's mad at God.
He's mad at God, which the gimmick is fucking awesome. He's turned from being the Redeemer, like, now he's pissed. Yeah. Now he's pissed. But what if this was brought up? Yes, it was on Reddit. I'll say it. But I thought it was an interesting theory. What if Miro wanted to give to CJ as right? Like he wins the diamond ring and can give it to CJ, and that's her diamond ring, and now she as a valet can use the diamond ring in sneaky ways and so on and so forth. I don't
mind that.
I don't mind that either. If you want to, yeah, because at this point, I would argue that MJF doesn't need it, especially moving into a feud with Punk. And I think you want him to drop that, because after the feud with Punk, MJF's going to be world title picture. And I think
Needs to be.
Because he's got to beat Punk.
But he's got to beat Punk.
Yeah.
And he will
going to beat Punk.
And I think he's going to beat Punk, and he's going to be the first person to beat Punk in
Yep.
AEW, right? So that would be like the Miro thing with CJ, bringing her in, so on and so forth. That could also, this is happening at Winter is Coming. That could actually work quite well as your surprise debut.
There's going to be some sort of a schmoz finish in that one, though. Like, there's no way that Punk loses clean.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with that. So,
but I think that the diamond ring comes into play in that. Like,
probably.
So we'll see. But I definitely think that Punk is really due for his first loss, and it needs to be somebody who's going to really benefit from it, and nobody benefits from it more than MJF right now.
Yeah.
Lastly, with AEW feuds that are developing, how do you guys feel about the whole Orange Cassidy Adam Cole thing? I'm okay with it, I guess, because I think they're gonna have a good match.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it. I think for Cole right now, like and Orange Cassidy, a good top mid card feud is where they both don't need to be in like a top, like it's still gonna draw eyes and be attention getting, and they're gonna have a great match. And I think it actually works for both of them, because not everyone can be in these main event pictures and building, and I think it's actually kind of smart, because it puts two guys who have a lot of eyes, who have a lot of fans together. One of them who can do a fucking ton of talking, great, right? Adam Cole, baby, like he's fucking great at it. Then you have Orange Cassidy, who doesn't say a lot, doesn't need to say a lot, but they both can fucking back it up in the ring. And like, so I think the dynamic works. I don't think any of us would have picked it. I don't think I would have like said like this is like a
it came out of left field, I guess is kind of what
like a year ago. I don't think
but I'm not mad at it.
No,
like for right now, I don't think it's going to be the greatest feud ever, but I also don't. I think we're also going to be pleasantly surprised that they're going to have a fucking great match.
Oh, they're going to have a on I also loved on Dynamite they did the whole Orange Cassidy does the with the kicks, right? The soft kicks and everything. He's doing it to the Young Bucks, and he's going doing the but the timing with Adam Cole that then slips in and does the crotch shot underneath. The timing was so perfect, and this is just how good Adam Cole and all of these guys are. Because they had the crowds go, doing the ohs to where then went to the different the crotch shot but it was in line with all the ohs, and I don't know, that just got me. That was something I wanted to mention. Something just very, very quickly. I know we're up on time for predictions, but there was a video that surfaced this week that I really, really wanted to play on this show, and I usually don't, of course, ever play videos on Ohno Wrestling, but this is not something that I feel that it would be unrelated. And Duncan, are you familiar with seat fillers? I'm sure you're familiar with seat fillers.
Oh yeah, of course. So
there was a video that was captured by a seat filler, and it was posted to show this is the speech by WWE's seat fillers. Have you seen this yet?
No.
This is a speech given by a WWE employee behind the scenes. Someone's sneakily recording it and everything, of the speech that is given to the seat fillers, before the show, as they're being told what their duties are.
Okay.
So I just felt like it would be kind of fun to play, and it's not long at all. So just give me 2 seconds here, and I'll optimize and play this guy. There we go. Can you guys see that? Let me go
Yep.
and change the view for the Twitch peoples. There we go.
Oh, did we just optimize for the first time ever?
We've
in another
optimized.
wrestling history.
We just optimized. We did.
Fuck.
We
So
did.
this is what it feels like being on the opposite side of it.
Yeah.
Sure does.
Here you go. So here we go. Here. This
Just looks like this dude has a big crotch bulge.
Yeah.
Did
We're looking
you-
at. Oh, he is rocking the
Yeah.
the whatchamacallit, the pass thing that with the
Yeah.
you know.
The dangle
Yeah,
pass.
the lanyards.
Yeah, that's
The
one
old-
of your favorites, Owen. I have a couple.
I think we all do.
Did you hear the
Yeah.
setup for this, Matthew? I know you had to step away.
I
right
did
there.
not. Sorry, my dog's been sick all
No,
day, and I
no.
thought she was going to throw up on my carpet, so
Basically-
I went
No, poor
over.
girl.
But
Basically, this is the speech that WWE officials give to seat fillers prior to a show before they're, going to be doing the seat filling.
yep.
All right.
So I did watch this.
right.
We're gonna put it into the
Somebody
group.
who hopefully paid a lot of money for the seat you're sitting in comes back and is very confused as to why you are sitting there. Kindly and politely explain, hey, listen, I'm a seat filler, I'm with WWE, I'm only sitting here until you get back. Most of the time, that will solve all problems. Sometimes people want to argue, they want to insult, they want to get into a confrontation about it. Please do not confront or argue back, okay? I will have eyes on you guys. I promise I'll come over and rescue you if you need to be rescued, all right? So, I might move you guys one time. I might move you 50 times. I am giving you a heads up. I am going to move you a lot. I'm going to move you guys a lot tonight. So
How do you feel about this, first off, Duncan? Because I know you're the only one that hasn't seen it.
Also, how do you go from I might move you one time, I might move you 50 times, then he goes, I'm gonna move you a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
It feels so WWE already, though, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
if you're wearing sandals, I'm very sorry.
Okay. You're going to walk a lot.
You guys are about to get a lot of steps in. Please be ready to move at any point in time. I will need you guys
guy had a cane.
2 major times during the show. Hey, Ducky, get the hell out of here. That's Stewie, our camera guy. Stewie needs a booster seat.
This guy seems like a cocky prick, I'm going to be honest.
Yep.
Oh, that guy uses that joke in every fucking town that he goes to.
Yep.
So, it is day 3 of pay-per-view week, and everybody here is exhausted.
I want you to pay attention to the one thing he said like a little bit ago is I'm going to need you at 2 major times during the show. And he'll clarify.
So you're let's see. So I need you guys 2 times definitely during the show. Once at the very beginning of SmackDown, right around 8 o'clock. The second time,
Make sure.
right after
Makes
SmackDown
sense.
goes off the air at 10 o'clock, we go into 205 Live.
Because everybody leaves and doesn't want to watch 205 Live.
Mm-hmm.
I will probably move every single person. Okay?
Yes, you will. Because 205 Live, everybody leaves, and we.
Yep.
Once, that's
damn it.
Sweaty, our other camera guy. Hey, Sweaty! Why are there so many WWE people out here? Okay, so, and then when SmackDown goes off the air, 205 Live we go into, I will probably move everybody here. So please, once SmackDown's about to go off the air, heads up because you're about to move. Okay, that is what we're doing. Anyone have any questions about what we're doing? Fantastic. Couple of rules. The seat I temporarily put you in, you might be very close to the ring. Fellas, if you are close enough to hug Carmella, don't even think about it. Ladies, if you are close enough to touch Finn's abs, do not think about it. Please don't touch the talent.
I already thought about it.
Please don't throw anything at our talent.
There you go, though. It's weird, right? Like, I don't know. There was something that I just felt the need to play on the show just because it felt so kind of
Well, it's like those people are getting paid
yeah, to do seat filling.
to seat fill.
Yeah. Or they're just getting, are they getting paid or are they just getting the seats?
Seat fillers get paid.
Do they? Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of what I would expect, I think. I mean, I'm gonna shout out the cameraman who filmed that because the other cameraman got shouted out by that jackass.
Right. So shout out
Right.
to the
the
dude who was
actual
filming when
hero
he
who
shouldn't
filmed
have been.
that to let us all see it. I would have actually expected, in all honesty, him to say like, I need you to be enthusiastic and boo and yell and scream and like play into the gimmick. Like I'm surprised I didn't hear that.
No, that's a good point. That is a good point. They kind of kept it.
Honestly, like that was the only thing missing from that for it to be pure on brand WWE.
Yeah. He also didn't say that the women couldn't hug Carmella and that the guys couldn't.
Yeah,
touch
why,
That's
dude?
true.
What if I'm a gay dude and I want to touch Finn Balor's abs?
2021 WWE, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Be better.
Be better.
Be better.
All right.
All right, let's predict this stupid card for the show that none of us watch.
None of us will watch.
What am I even predicting?
We're war games.
Predict war games.
Oh shit! What's the? I don't even know what the card is.
I got some. We got it for you here. I got some.
We
war
got it pulled
music.
up, but literally none of us are watching NXT. So
it's shots in the
going in
dark
blind.
for all of us. Yeah, going in blind. OMD, here we go. All right, so I'm just gonna read it as Wikipedia has it, and the first match for this one will be, all right, it's a women's War Games match with Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, Kaylee Ray versus Dakota Kai and Toxic Attraction, who is Mandy Rhodes, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. So are we going basically with old school Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, Kaylee Ray, or are we going with Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai, which very odd pairing.
Is JC Jane a porn star name to anybody but me?
I mean, it does
Definitely
seem,
a porn star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Chasey Lane.
So you get to go last, Duncan, since you are the current predictions champion, which means
Correct.
I think I will just go ahead and take it first. I'm going to go with a little bit of Toxic Attraction, and that's how I'm going to write it down. I'm just going to write down a good old T-A.
T-A.
And that's who I think is going to win this one. What about you, Matthew?
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go the same way, but just because the one thing I know is that's what they've been fucking building.
They're really
and
big on the good old Toxic Attraction. They're really making that a big part of the 2.0.
They sure are. I mean, I was going with that no matter what.
Yeah,
so.
you're doing that too. Which
I think Raquel's coming up to the main roster. EO probably as well.
EO should. I think here's what sucks. Io Shirai would be, like, if handled correctly, could be a huge star. But Raquel is exactly what the main roster needs right now. And I want to see a Raquel, like, main roster feud with Ripley. So I can kind of see him doing something like that, or I don't know. But yeah, you're probably right for both of them. How about this one? A hair versus hair match with Cameron Grimes to the moon and one Duke Hudson. You know, because Duke Hudson, he plays poker, I believe. I think that is his gimmick. Is that the guy? Is he the poker guy?
He's the poker guy.
So we got poker guy versus Cameron Grimes here.
Cameron Grimes has more hair to lose, so he's gonna lose.
Oh, you think? Oh, so you're going with Duke Hudson on this one?
Yep.
Matthew, going Duke Hudson. All right. I don't think they're going to cut those luscious locks of Cameron's. So I'm going to go.
They already cut him once.
But no.
I'm just saying, his hair and beard is significantly shorter. He's not a caveman anymore.
I'm going Grimes. I'm going Cameron Grimes. Going Cameron Grimes. Just saying.
I'm also going Cameron Grimes.
He's going Cameron Grimes too.
I'm going Cameron Grimes.
I'm trying to win this belt, motherfucker.
I'm not trying to win.
That's where I win the belt.
Oh, see, it might be.
Oh,
it might be.
see?
Might be.
Maybe.
Tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Imperium versus Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. This is
Von Wagner.
Von Wagner. We hung
Von
out.
Wagner, yeah.
I hung out in
Yes,
the woods with
yeah.
Kyle. We hung out in the woods.
This is Kyle.
This is Kyle.
Von Wagner and Kyle.
We do beers. We like the beers
Yes.
together. Yes. We're idiots.
Yep.
Good prof, bro. Good prof. No. I think Kyle O'Reilly is totally leaving that company and not re-signing. So I think Imperium retains.
Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, we're Imperium all around.
Yeah. All right. I'll just
Cool
go.
Kyle is about to be unemployed Kyle.
He's gonna be or pretty all elite. Who knows?
All elite Kyle?
Might be.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. It would be a lot cooler than dude. I want him to show up in the jean jacket in any AEW. That's all I need. Like that's super cool. That's like
Yeah, but then he's
super
fighting
cool
on
Kyle.
Trent's style.
That's fine. Yeah,
It's fine.
Very good. Roderick. All right, here we go. This one's an interesting one, and I do find the backstory for this one fucking hilarious. That Joe Gacy, of
God.
course, challenges Roderick Strong for the Cruiserweight Championship.
I hate
and
it so much.
Joe Gacy looks like I'm looking at his picture right now, like for this, like them side of it. He looks like just a pussified version of Kevin Owens.
He is a poor man's.
You
Kevin
know who?
Owens.
Okay, you know who he reminds me of? And he's that British talk show host that I fucking can't stand. He's in
yeah,
Keurig
what's
commercials. Corbin,
James Corden.
Yeah,
James
he does look
Corden.
like him.
He looks like the wrestling version of him, and I hate that guy. And I kind
James
of
Corden
hate.
is such a twat.
But I think what they're doing with this, like, it's so okay. If you take it on a meta level, it's sort of hilarious. The fact that what we're doing here is Joe Gacy feels like it's uninclusive to have a cruiserweight title because you can't. The fat
What
boys.
about people that are
the
over
fat
205
boys
pounds?
Yeah.
What about me? What about Raven?
To me,
I
it's
do
sort of
kinda-
hilarious.
Fucking
It's sort
PC
of
principle.
hilarious.
This is what I'm saying. Microaggressions, bro.
Yeah,
So, is it my turn or yours, Matthew? Who I don't know.
I think it's my turn.
It is.
I'm gonna
yeah.
go Roderick.
You're gonna go
Roderick
Roderick. Damn it!
Strong.
I
You're
was
going
gonna
Roddy.
go Roderick Strong too. Yeah, I was gonna go Roddy. I'll just say it. I'm gonna go Roddy too.
Ooh.
You gotta go Gacy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you do
I
whatever
don't
you
want to
want.
go Gacy. No, that's terrible. Like I don't. But I'm gonna go Gacy. Fuck it. I don't care.
He's going Gacy, baby.
Yeah. When in doubt, you go with Gacy. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
it's not John Wayne Gacy, but I'll take it. Maybe he'll be channeling some bad energy for me.
Here's the thing: if they go that route with the cruiserweight title, I know it sounds like terrible on paper, but there's actually some fun storyline things that they can do with that. Like there's,
And that's why I think that one's got legs.
yeah, I just don't know if I have the courage to go that strong with it. So yeah, I'm going Roddy.
Yeah, I'm also really high, so
That's fair too. That's fair. Then we get the final match, the fifth and final. Basically, they're calling it Team Black and Gold, which I appreciate that. I like that they're acknowledging, I guess, essentially Team Black and Gold or NXT 2.0.
Yeah,
Sorry,
which
1.0.
means that there's only one way that this match can fucking go.
correct.
It's
Old school versus new school.
Ciampa, Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight. Let's also not forget that Gargano might be on the way out as well.
Gargano signed an extension that takes him through the 10th, I believe.
Yeah, but
It's a long extension.
long. Yeah, he's
But that's what I'm saying. His
Yeah,
contract should have already expired on the 1st.
versus 2.0, which is Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, Tony D'Angelo with Trick Williams. I don't even know who Trick Williams is.
It doesn't matter because
don't
Team
know.
2.0 is winning that. I'll just
Yeah.
go ahead right out.
Well, so you
They
think?
are.
Okay, all right. I think we can all say that is 2.0, right? Like we're all
Yeah.
like in
Team
agreement.
Breaker.
Well, yeah, we could
Yeah,
almost
Braun
put
Breaker is
team
going to be the star of that.
and
Yeah.
so like, do we want to do side bet? Well, no, because all of us are going to say the same thing. Breaker's going to pin Gargano, right? Like that's how
Yeah.
that's how the match ends. to send
Yeah.
Gargano out on the way. Right?
I would think so.
That's kind of how I'm feeling
Yeah.
about that one. Well, that's your predictions. We'll wrap things up and get out of here for you. But before we go, want to say sort of like, not condolences, but best of luck to Big Swole, who has decided, I believe it was to just not resign, right?
She decided not to,
AEW.
and she claims she talked with them, but said this is something that she decided.
There wasn't a lot of reasons given, but I know she's had health issues in the past, and I just hope that
she has Crohn's disease, which is the son of a bitch.
So I just like, as much as like I didn't really connect with her as a wrestler, I do like feel for her because I've had some serious issues like in that way, and like she did like, even if she might not have been for me, but she had a lot of potential. Like she was somebody that I felt that AEW was probably going to use more often, and just best of luck to her with her health and all that type of stuff.
And that match that she had with Britt Baker, like the dental match or whatever, like that was really good.
Yeah, no, she's definitely somebody that I would hope to see resurface in the future. Is there anything else you guys want to throw in
what
there?
What a shitty card of predictions to lose a title on if I lose the fucking title.
Yeah, that is a sneaky one, right? Like, but yeah, I know. I'm not.
It's fine.
Sorry, man, but that's just the way the cards.
I know.
That's where the way
you messaged me earlier. You're just like, I know we're supposed to do it, and I was just like, yeah, let's fucking not do it.
I have thought about it.
The asshole in the room, but it like when you guys mentioned predictions, I was like, what the fuck are we predicting?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
You just missed that part of the show where we're basically talking about like, we don't even watch really NXT 2.0, and it's been a while.
Ever since the rebrand, like I almost went to War Games, and then I decided I can't be asked to take an Uber or a bus with other smarks. I can't do it.
No.
You know what the weird thing is? Because I wasn't on the show when we talked about the fuck was that Survivor Series?
Mm-hmm.
I actually watched Survivor Series live.
Oh yeah?
I was that stoned and bored.
You must have been.
I was not on the road. I like didn't know what to do with myself, and I was like, "What's happening right now on this Sunday?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, I was like, "I guess I'm gonna watch it." And like, I kind of hated myself, like, kind of didn't because I like wrestling, but
right.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like great, but it was like one of those things where I was like, "Huh." I like watched this entire pay-per-view from WWE start to fucking finish,
which is weird and unheard of at this point.
Yeah, which is weird and unheard of. Which, by the way, I know you guys canceled your Peacock. Which is fine. I can give you guys some cock if you need it. Got plenty to go around, but because my internet, they just give it to me for free.
Oh, nice.
I actually don't pay for it.
Well, there you go. Well, yeah, you got that. You got that sweet Comcast hookup.
Yeah, well, and I never fucking use it. Like literally, that was the first time I've signed in for fucking ever.
That's terrible. It's just a terrible app. It's a terrible service. So no one.
Oh, the user interface is terrible.
Yeah, the whole thing is bad. We'll leave with this, and we'll just we'll do who you think this might be. But Nick Aldis has been teaming former WWE names in the NWA coming soon. Who's going to NWA? That's a former, probably a release, I would guess. Does Bray show up there weirdly? Like, do we do that? Do we do that?
Shit, man, I don't even know.
It's a weird one, right? With NWA, because they're so specific and like have that certain style. Like,
yeah.
When is he gonna pop up?
Okay, Strowman would be the one, right?
Strowman would be the one.
Strowman. Yeah, something like that.
I know Marina Shafir just had her AEW debut at the Dark Tapings here in Orlando.
Nice. Apparently, Brandy was back in the ring as well at these Dark Tapings here in Orlando.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, and what was it? Infinito.
Was Daniel Bryan? Or Bryan Danielson, rather.
Yeah,
that's the rumor.
I mean, if they do this weird like Bizarro world where these guys are luchadors, I think that's kind of really funny and kind of genius.
I mean, it makes Dark a lot more interesting to go to. I'll tell you that. Like that's a
for
way
sure.
that's a way to get people to Dark tapings if you're doing almost like, in comic books when they do Zombie Marvel or whatever. I don't know.
Right, they do like a weird crossover.
Yeah, that's
event.
what I'm
Alternate
thinking of, something like
universe,
that.
right?
Like
Like-
it's kind of a cool little universe.
tongue in cheek
Yeah.
for the smarks, but you get to see some like real good talent. Like
Well, and it makes sense. Like Marvel did the whole crossover with AAA?
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
Well,
it was
like, I did
AAA or CMLL. I can't
Well, and
remember.
we
I
already
have
saw
the
FTR.
Loki one.
That's awesome.
Like I have the
There it
Loki.
is.
That's funny.
Nice.
That's funny.
Well, and we saw FTR come out as whatever
Right.
the frog,
the green
right?
frog things, whatever they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, so like it would be really funny, I think, if they actually did do this like Bizarro world, like
Cody's done it
offshoot.
now. They've done that.
I would love it.
You've got the Infinito thing with Brian.
because they're wrestling a different style too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not
yeah.
like full on luchador, but it's like not his like kicking like people's teeth in style or out.
Dude,
Now
I mean,
we
if they're
can
gonna
have
do
fun.
that, bring Suicide back.
Yeah.
Right. That was the TNA like weird character that was played
it
by
was
like
like
a
a
million
creative
different
wrestler.
people.
Yeah, that they then made a real person. And
No, Christopher
TJ
Daniels played him.
TJP did for a minute. Matt Cross was Suicide when I saw him.
Kazarian did him. Kazarian did him
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So
Maybe I was thinking actually maybe it was Kazarian instead of Christopher Daniels. Maybe I was thinking of him. Did Christopher Daniels
I think
do
it was Kaz.
I think it was just Kaz. Maybe Christopher Daniels didn't do that. My apologies. I just got
But
the
still
mix-two.
like that. And if we're gonna do that, then we have to bring back Curry Man.
we have to
Yeah.
bring back Curry, man.
You have to bring back Curry Man.
Curry Man.
All right.
Also, and speaking of
AEW, I
luchadors,
know
I know
you're
we got to
listening.
get out of here.
Curry
but
Man.
Bandito, where do you
Curry
think
Man.
Bandito ends up?
Bandito?
Bandito? Ooh.
Isn't he in that AAA match?
He's in the AAA
He's
match.
gonna win that. He's gonna win that.
He's so fucking good.
yeah,
Dude, he's so fucking good.
I feel like he's the perfect person to win that match. It's not gonna be Bobby Fish. It's not gonna be Jay Lethal, right? Like it's either him or the Vikingo.
Yeah.
Who I have seen wrestle. I just can't pronounce the names in Spanish.
I think that honestly, it's like Jay Lethal would be the third choice in that one.
It would be an interesting
Yeah.
shot. I mean, with the Bandito and him being both Ring of Honor, like that's kind of an interesting way to kind of throw that in there. I think Bandito is my choice for that one.
Oh, definitely.
But I can also see them wanting to keep it on one of their boys like fully this time, and like because they did kind of like more than Impact and they got screwed with the belt collector thing more than anyone, right? Because it was never
Oh.
even acknowledged half the time. Like
Yeah.
And Kenny goes and just like, I don't even care about defending this one.
Yeah,
I
and then
gotta
just he
retain it."
gives the belt to Don, and he's just like, "You fucking carry this thing. I don't give a shit about this."
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Bandito would make perfect sense, but Vikingo again.
El hijo de Vikingo.
Thank you. He's actually my number one. Bandito number two. With that, but, yeah.
Fair.
Anyway, I think it is time that we wrap things up for the evening, as we've all got lives and jobs and things to do. Oh, that was the wrong song.
That's a different theme song.
That was the wrong thing completely. That's the one. This is what we dance to when we get out of here for the evening, boys. I'd like to thank you joining, Matthew. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit down and talk some wrestling.
Looking forward to it.
And yeah, I know it's not always easy because our schedules are fluctuating, but we thank you, the listener, for bearing with that as well. We always hope to give you at least one weekly podcast, and of course you can find all of those over at ohnowrestling.com or wherever you find your podcasts. If you're not, tuning in on whenever we do it, you should be in our Facebook group because that's where you can kind of find the information to watch this thing live, just like you can tonight over at twitch.tv/ONRS live. But our Facebook group's over there at facebook.com/groups/OhnoWrestling. At Ohno Wrestling on Instagram. I think that's about all my plugs. If you want to leave us a voicemail, that's always fun. You can do that. Leave us a voicemail. It's 407-906-6466. And boys, let's give it the old sting-a-rooney here. Duncan will be performing at the local Burger King later on this evening. He'll be signing autographs. He has told me that if you buy 2 Whoppers, you get a free head rub. That's what he told me, at least. The one behind the local gym.